I've fallen before, felt the ebb of fate pull me into the void, a cycle of loss, the forfeiture of what I once loved. I am no longer the one who stumbled through that shadow. Dawn will break after the longest night, as victory no longer eludes me.
Hey guys, kailakai here, and welcome to the Bonney video. Now, one of the first videos that I made on this channel was Bonney versus Shanks, and Bonney got completely destroyed. However, I've changed the Bonney build, and I now think that it can beat Shanks. There's one card that I overlooked in green that absolutely destroys a lot of the meta, and as such I'm going to be testing a couple of decks that can look at it. But for now, the first one that came into my mind was Bonney, so we'll be going over this matchup. The Shanks list has also been updated for the meta, and it's generally close to what I had towards the beginning, but it's been ironed out a bit to deal with the meta that has started to take place. I will let Shanks have second, which he prefers. Now, just as a reminder, I am recording this by myself. I don't have anyone to record with right now, but soon I am going to have someone to record with. As you saw yesterday, the friend that I recorded the tier list video with, hopefully I can get some games in with him. We just haven't really had enough time to sit down and record a bunch. As such, please bear with me here. But again, I'll be going over this analytically as what I would do from both sides, disregarding what I know of the opponent's hand. So I think that as Bonney, we already have our Searcher, we have a good 5 and 7. Really, this is kind of all we can ask for. We don't want to ask for more than this. For Shanks, however, we have a very good curve of Yesel into Newgate into Shanks. However, because we're going second, we really want to play Rakiru on 4, and if we can't play that, it feels kind of bad. And we can always find these things as we run searchers, so I think that I'll mulligan this as Shanks. Hi, onegaishimasu. One doll. Bonney, and then enter. One doll, uta. Then uta search. Check 5. And put. We already have Rakiru, and dealing with Bonney's boards is slightly difficult. We also have a building snake though. I'll just take Rakiru because it's the safer choice. One doll, Bonney search. Hawkins. And one doll on leader, and then 6,000 leader. 6,000 leader take. Well, it looks like Shanks is going to have perfect curve this game, so we'll see what Bonney can do. Uta's going to get rested, so make sure that we take Bonney. 5,000 Bonney. Okay, leader effect, rest Uta. Okay, take Bonney. 4 doll, Rakiru, and then enter. Okay, well, Luckier is really annoying because it means that I can't play Cavendish and then hit, because then Cavendish immediately dies. So let's just start here. 5 into leader, just gets leader effect, so I'll go 5 into Uta. Just take Uta. Cavendish, and then on play effect, make it 2 doll active, and then enter. 5 doll, leader plus 1,000, and then 6,000 leader. Leader effect, rest Lucky Rib. Then 6,000 leader, I'll take 1 doll, building snake, and then enter. Honestly, I'm fine actually. I think building snake was slightly scary for a second, but I can just play Hody and take it, I guess. Hody, and then rest these 2, and then draw 1 life. 6,000 into Rakiru, and then make 2 doll active. I don't think it's worth defending just because he has a bunch of things, and letting this die lets me take Cavendish, so I'll just take it. And then on KO effect, KO Cavendish. Okay. 5,000 building snake. Okay. 9,000 Yesel. 9,000 means I could defend with 2-1. My hand would get pretty low if I do that. I need to take some of my life. I'll just take it. That was honestly kind of a misplay from me. I guess we got it, so it's fine. I guess just solve everything with good draws. But the thing is, so I think in this situation, I would want to play, well, I would have to play with this first, so I don't do this, but I would want to start pushing life with Dragon to try to close out with Shanks. Obviously, I think the best play is to definitely try to take this. So, building snake, effect. Minus 3,000 Bodhi, then 7 doll, Newgate. Newgate's on play effect. I'll put a rested doll onto my leader. I'll use the effect first, and then KO Hody. Okay. 6,000 leader. 2,000 counter. Then enter. So, the thing is, ooh, that's a good card though, actually. But I really want to save Shanks for when he plays 10 cost Shanks. So I don't want to use it here just now, even though I have the nice 9 doll. So it's good that I picked this up from the search. 7,000 leader. 7,000 leader, I will take. God damn it, dude. 6 doll. Hawkins, and then enter. Just so our stuff doesn't get rested first and he has leader effect, I'm going to 8,000 leader first. Leader effect, rest leader. I'm going to say that having the Hawkins is good security. I'll hold on to it. 2-2. 10 don't. Shanks. And then 12,000 leader. Take. Okay. Enter. Okay. I want to try to start to push for game, which is why I didn't block with this. And I think I can slow down the game quite a bit with my leader effect. Let's start with 5,000 leader. Leader effect, minus 1,000 body. And then let's get rid of Shanks, so our Hawkins is back to 7,000 power. KO Shanks. 7,000 leader. 1-2. End turn. Because of Bonney's effect, it gets very awkward to play Dragon and get value out of hitting with multiple things. So unfortunately, we just have to hit pretty hard with 2 attacks. It's not, I guess, that unfortunate, because if the game ends, then it ends. 10,000 leader. Leader effect, rest Shanks. And then 10,000, I mean, I can defend it. I don't think I'm in urgent need to, because this will come active next turn, and I also have this next turn. So, I guess I do need to worry about Roger, though. So, okay, considering Roger, I guess I should defend this, even though I would hate to. 11. 8 dong, Dragon, and then on play effect, put 2 dong on Dragon, and 11,000 leader. Take. Okay, let's start with our traditional poke. 5,000 leader. Leader effect, minus 1,000. I really want to end the game next turn if possible, and I don't really have something I can play after this. So I think that I'm safe because I have 1 life left, so even if some random rusher comes out, I'll be fine. So 7,000 leader. If I defend with this, I'm in serious trouble of just not having a turn next turn. So I'll just defend here. 2-2. 11 leader. Take. 10 do Flamingo. And then lock the 3 characters and enter. Oof. Okay. Well, I'm out of gas, I guess. Even if I wasn't, I can't finish the game this turn. We just need to survive this turn, basically. 4 don't Lucky Root, and then enter. I'm curious how important it is to go for lethal this turn, and how likely it is that we can take the board back. Because Hawkins absolutely can't be taken, so he needs 3 attacks. Here's what we can do. I think that we can try to hit the board here, and then whatever is left we hit with leader with about 9,000, and then that way we'll have 6 dong left, so we can play Bonney to lock one of the characters, and have 1 dong up. And that way we lock 1 character, we have leader effect to get rid of one of them, so effectively they only have 2 attacks, and if they only have 2, then they need a rush. So I think that's the play for now. Let's start with here to 10,000 to Whitebeard. 10,000 Whitebeard, I will leader effect, minus 1,000, and then plus 2,000. I'll take the safer play, because having 2 2,000s is much harder than having 2 in a 1. So I'll do 11,000 new gate. I'll block. 9,000 leader. Take. Okay. 5 don't. Bonney. And then on play effect, lock Dragon until the next turn. And then enter. 1 don't active. Okay, Dragon can't become active, but the rest of my board can. I have to be honest, I don't have enough attacks to go through, and I'm absolutely dead next turn. But you know, giving up is a coward's game, so 8,000 leader. Leader effect, rest Shanks, and then 8,000. There's still the risk of Roger, so I can't take this. 2-2. I've drawn a lot of 2Ks this game, haven't I? Shanks. 12,000 leader. Take. Okay. What I will say, although this matchup was quite close and it came down to the absurd amount of 2,000 counters that I drew, if I do happen to just draw 2 Shanks, it's very over. Just because I would be able to take the new gate, and then I would take over the Shanks, and then I'm just permanently ahead on the board. But we got there in the end. He has 3 cards in hand, so 11,000 is guaranteed to go through. Take. And forehand is 13,000. Leader. Yep, I don't have enough. So, these are the 2 lists that we used for this video. Now, the Shanks list is quite standard. It hasn't actually changed too much from what I had originally, but actually I think that's more or less because my original list was fairly close to the correct choice. It seems like the control Shanks has more or less taken over the rush Shanks. I actually tried the rush Shanks, and I wasn't a big fan just because in the mirror, the control Shanks kind of runs it over, and that's very important because there's so many Shanks right now. As such, this is a very template Shanks. as things like the 10-cost Shanks can help deal with the mirror if you set up a building snake beforehand, and things like building snake in general are pretty hard to take in this meta as there isn't stuff like four cost Lucci. Now, Bonney's list, I don't think this is perfect. Of course, there are many ways you can build this deck. Even you can use the 1-cost Baby 5 Searcher. However, I'm not using this as I think that focusing more on getting these strong mid-game cards with Bonney is more important than just trying to find a bunch of Doflamingo to spam. As such, we've also reduced the number of 10-cost Doflamingo to focus more on this mid-range plan to close out the game with Shanks. Now, in a lot of matchups, if you play 2 Shanks in a row, you will just win. However, as it's not a searchable card, generally you want to be playing Shanks plus one other one of these big range things. Shanks is the star of this. I really can't stress this enough. It gets rid of 8-cost Dragon, it gets rid of 10-cost Shanks, it gets rid of 9-cost Luffy, it gets rid of 10-cost Nika, and even in the mirror it can get rid of Hody. Just being able to get rid of these high-cost rush characters extremely quickly and efficiently and placing its 11,000 power, which is also out of range of the KO 10-cost Shanks, is just really strong in this meta. And I think that this card alone has flipped this matchup. Of course, the Doflamingo matchup isn't easy, I will say this. It's not impossible due to the fact that they need to red rock your 8-cost Skid or they lose. Once they red rock their 8-cost Skid, although they're losing tempo, they are getting rid of your 8,000 power shield, so then it becomes a more difficult fight. So if the opponent red rocks it, then you can start to either play a second one or lock down the board with things like Doflamingo, but there are ways to fight it as Bonney. And as such, this system is not only good for Shanks, of course, and red-purple Luffy, purple Luffy, it tends to beat because they just slow down the game so hard. It can also fight with things like Doflamingo thanks to cards like 8-cost Kid. I think that there's still some room for improvement in this list because I'm still experimenting and testing as I go. We saw in the first video how hard I got destroyed by Shanks, and this video, just because 10-cost Shanks could be taken, immediately the board state changed. The reason why 10-cost Shanks is so strong in this meta is because there's very little removal. If people were to play, for example, Lucci and just tech in Ice Ages again, then people would be able to beat this deck fairly easily because all you have to do is get rid of their top end. As such, although I don't love cards like 8-cost Dragon, this kind of helps increase the deck's top end in the event that they have these sorts of cards be taken by the opponent. As such, I don't think that Shanks is bad, of course, he's very consistent and powerful, but I do think that he has these sorts of weaknesses where if you can find a way to remove or delay his board, he gets significantly weaker because he wants to end the game quickly once he starts playing these Shanks. Bonney has the ability to slow down the game with her leader effect, and to take back Shanks immediately with his Shanks, so therefore I think this is a good matchup for Bonney, and why Bonney is probably a decent contender in this meta. I'll see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know what sort of decks you want to see. I am going to be making a video on one of the comments that I saw, hopefully in the next couple of days, because their comment gave me a really interesting idea for the meta. I'll see you guys there. Bye bye.